The joint session will now come to order. Members and guests, I will invite you to take your seats. It is a good day in Colorado, a wonderful time to be together. The House and the Senate joins for today's important address. Senate Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Madam Speaker, I move that the morning roll call of the Senate be made the Senate roll call of the joint session.
Seeing no objection, the morning roll call of the Senate will be made the Senate roll call of the joint session. House Majority Leader Duran.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the morning roll call of the House be made the House roll call for the joint session.
Seeing no objection, the morning roll call of the House will be made the House roll call of the joint session. A quorum is present. As is customary, it is my privilege and honor to present the gavel to the President of the Senate to oversee these proceedings. Yeah, cheers. Our President governs with great heart, commitment, and dedication, not only to his chamber, to the people of his district, but the people of this state. It has been a true joy to serve alongside President Coleman. President Coleman, please take the gavel.
Let's give it up for the greatest speaker, I see other speakers, the greatest speaker of all time, Julian McCluskey. Let's give it up for her. Yeah. If there are any former speakers in charge of anything in finance, please forgive me. We need all the support we can here in this legislature. Well, the Joint Committee composed of Senators Roberts, Gonzalez, and Simpson, Representatives Martinez, Smith, and Bottoms, please escort the governor to the chamber. The joint session will be in recess while we await the governor. The joint session will come back to order. Chief Sergeant of the House Rosenthal. Will the committee to escort the governor please proceed to the podium? It is my pleasure and honor to present to you the Honorable Jared Polis, Governor of the State of Colorado. Is this supposed to be way up there? Okay, it's for me.
Well, hello, everybody. Lieutenant Governor Diane Primavera, thanks for being here. Thank you, Majority Leader Duran, Majority Leader Rodriguez, members of the Colorado General Assembly, our state executive officers, Treasurer Young, Attorney General Weiser, Secretary of State Griswold, members of the State Board of Education, where many of you know I got my start, justices of the Colorado Supreme Court, members of my cabinet, Southern Ute Tribal Chairman Baker, Ute Mountain Ute Tribal Council members, and of course, Your Excellency, Madam Speaker, and Your Excellency, Mr. Senate President. We also thank Minority Leader Caldwell and Simpson. Thank you for being here. And to all of you, welcome to my final State of the State address, which I need to do a selfie for. So let's get ready, everybody. Okay. There we go. I sent it out. To my family. They're here you've been with me on this crazy journey since day one. Thank you, Marlon, for your unwavering support and for your inspiring work as Colorado's first gentleman. Especially your contributions to animal welfare, to recycling and composting, to voter participation, and to LGBTQ rights, and of course for being an incredible father to our children. And I know that you're relieved that we're nearing the end. We're almost there. To my mom and dad who've been here every step of the way, my sister and brother who are amazing, to my kids, you guys should be in school, but we'll give you an excuse today. And of course, to my friend and partner on this journey, Diane Primavera, thank you all for everything that you do every single day to serve our state. We appreciate for the General Assembly all the work you do with your strong moral compass, your passion, and your strength. And my family, members of the General Assembly, have been a great inspiration to my administration and, of course, helped us navigate so many difficult issues. To my chiefs of staff, Lisa, Rick, Alec, David, thank you for steering the ship with joy, fortitude, and steadfast dedication. And to my senior staff, the governor's office team, our incredible team across the agencies and state government who've contributed to my administration, thank you. It's with your expertise and commitment to service that we achieved even bigger and bolder things than we could have imagined, and we're not done yet. 7 years ago, I stepped up to the plate as your governor. Baseball aficionado, gamer, tech geek, a head mostly full of hair at that point, ever hopeful Rockies fan, at least I was hopeful back then. At the time, I certainly couldn't have predicted all that we would face as a state, as a nation, as a world. Now, of course, there's all that we planned and worked for to put Colorado ahead of the curve. Shared achievements like delivering on the promise of free kindergarten and preschool, saving families thousands of dollars and giving our youngest a strong start. Building out low-cost clean energy for more Coloradans to save money on energy bills and protect our air and water while creating good-paying jobs. And making it easier and more affordable, even free in many cases, to get the skills needed to get a good job. Of course, our work breaking down barriers to housing for Coloradans at every budget level. And of course, getting rid of the budget stabilization factor and fully funding our schools. Together and with the voters, we cut income taxes 3 times and we cut property taxes 5 times while supercharging the earned income and child tax credits. We established the Family Affordability Tax Credit, which helped cut child poverty rates by nearly 41%, and I couldn't be more proud, along with you, that Colorado has the lowest childhood poverty rate in the nation. Together, we generated more than $470 million new funding a year for our roads and bridges and transit, with the vast majority going to roads and bridges. And of course, there's the pinch me moments that I've had the opportunity to work on as governor, when we seized opportunities, expected and unexpected, and called our shot to deliver monumental achievements for Colorado. Becoming the new home of the world-renowned Sundance Film Festival. Keeping the Broncos in Denver with collaborating with Mayor Johnston, and the revitalization of Burnham Yard. Other moments like standing atop Fisher's Peak, Colorado's 42nd state park, I encourage you to visit, bringing the MLB All-Star Game to Colorado, which boosted our economy as the world recovered from a pandemic. Of course, receiving Colorado's first COVID vaccine shipment, marking a historic and scientific achievement, and of course, a return to life lived together. Celebrating President Biden's designation of Camp Hale as a national monument, an effort that I helped begin more than 15 years ago during my time in Congress. And first pup Gia, who's here with us also today in Marlon's lap, accompanied me to that signing at Camp Hale. And the Denver Post front page picture ignored Senator Bennett and Senator Hickenlooper and me. It just had our legs, but front and center was Gia, front and center at Camp Hale. Earning national recognition as the epicenter of quantum computing technology, which work continues, and I appreciate the bipartisan work of this chamber. And of course, amid those moments of celebration, there's also the curveballs that come with the job, the unforeseen events that altered and shaped the trajectory of Colorado forever. COVID was unlike anything we'd faced before. And while the world was plunged into uncertainty, we came together to support our brave and dedicated doctors and nurses and frontline workers, and charted a path forward to make sure we didn't exceed hospital capacity. At the height of the pandemic, I held 3 press conferences a week to help explain Coloradans, frankly, what we knew and of course what we didn't know at any given time. Leading with data and science, we shared the most up-to-date information to empower Coloradans to make informed decisions, weigh their risks, and choose how best to protect themselves and their families. And when Washington told states to figure it out for themselves, we all stepped up for Colorado. We quickly expanded life-saving tests, PPE, and when they were finally available, thanks to President Trump's Operation Warp Speed, vaccines too, and pushed hard to be one of the first states to safely get our schools and economy back up and running. With the expertise of our Department of Public Health and Environment Director, Dr. Jill Ryan, who I believe is the only public health director in the country to still be serving after the pandemic and continue her amazing work. My Chief of Staff, Lisa Kaufman, at the time. Colorado led the way in wastewater testing and made it easier and quicker for Coloradans to get a COVID test, and I'm proud. We had among the quickest vaccine uptakes of any state and one of the 10 lowest death rates of any state. In the middle of it all, we came together, the legislature meeting under extraordinary conditions to deliver on promises we made long before the pandemic hit. Democrats, Republicans, my administration, all worked together to keep Colorado safe, while at the same time passing free preschool and historic transportation funding. When we work together, we truly can do big things. And that year, 2020, that was just the year that kept on giving. We also had the 3 largest wildfires in the history of Colorado. And the very next year, we faced the Marshall Fire, the most destructive fire in Colorado history. And I want to recognize and thank Department of Public Safety Director Stan Hilke, There's Stan. You know, me and my chief of staff always, we have this, it's not a joke, it's the truth, but when Stan calls at 9 p.m. or 3 in the morning, it's never anything good. Stan, just call and say hi sometime. We appreciate that. Stan's team, of course, the Director of Colorado Division of Fire Prevention and Control, Mike Morgan, Director of the Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, Kevin Klein, Chief of Colorado State Patrol, Mac Packard, Colorado's National Guard Adjutant General at the time, and now I called her out of retirement, our CPW Acting Director. Thank you, General Laura Cleland. You know, there's so many Coloradans at so many levels that contributed during that difficult time period, from nurses, from volunteers to community leaders, to get Colorado through our most trying time. During my governorship, we've also witnessed horrific mass shootings at the STEM School in Highlands Ranch, Club Q in Colorado Springs, King Soopers in Boulder, and most recently at Evergreen High School. We've also endured a horrific anti-Semitic attack on Pearl Street Mall in Boulder. And grief has also struck right here in our state capital with the sudden and tragic passings of our former colleagues, Senator Faith Winter and Minority Leader Hugh McEwen. And of course, to honor their legacy, as Faith would say, we'll lift as we rise, and let's do a moment of silence for the late Senator Winter. For all of us here, we're going to bat for Colorado's future, to leave our great state even better than we found it. You know, 7 years ago, there's skeptics out there, thought my bold goals were far-fetched. And by the way, I've got the receipts, headlines, to prove it, doubting if I'd ever be able to get any of the stuff I talked about done. From 2019, headline, will Polis get full-day kindergarten, or will Colorado give another flaky promise? 1 year later, headline, Colorado's free full-day kindergarten boosted enrollment by nearly 25%. In my first year, the intrepid reporters at the Colorado Sun published a tracker of my campaign promises, and 9 News even wrote a song about it. Now, I really appreciate the press holding us accountable for my bold goals, although I did notice that they stopped keeping track because it's simply not as exciting when we keep delivering on our promises. But for me, it's always been about delivering real results, not headlines or what people are saying. To me, politics is very simple. You say what you're going to do, and then you do it. We posted a transparent dashboard to share month-by-month updates with Coloradans on our progress across state agencies, delivering wildly important goals, what we call WIGs internally. Once we even bought blue wigs for my cabinet. And we're bringing ease and convenience to government services with the launch of things like mobile DMV offerings, the My Colorado app, now used by nearly 2 million Coloradans. Hope you have it on your mobile device. And when it comes to turning my bold agenda into a better daily life for Coloradans, of course, we haven't always succeeded on our first try. But I've always stepped back up to the plate because that's what we do in Colorado. We're in this work to make life better, more affordable, safer for all of our fellow Coloradans. Meanwhile, over the past 12 months, it seems like Washington has often been in it to break it down, to make life harder and less affordable, to make Americans feel more fearful, more belligerent, and more vulnerable. As you know, in the last month alone, the Trump administration has threatened over $1 billion in funding for Colorado, and many actions are making life more expensive and more difficult across our state and across our nation. Mean cuts that have targeted short-term support for the most basic and essential needs for Colorado families and threatening child care support that Colorado families rely on. The president also recently denied 2 major disaster relief requests for the Lee and Elk fires and, of course, the devastating flooding in southwest Colorado, hurting our recovery efforts. Of course, he went on to veto a about unanimously passed bill by Representative Boebert and Senator Bennett and Senator John Hickenlooper to finally complete the pipeline providing clean water to rural Colorado, a project that first was promised under President Kennedy, all while threatening to dismantle NCAR, a global leader in weather and global science and a crown jewel of America's scientific achievement. That's, of course, before you get to the devastating impacts that H.R. 1, big bad bill, big beautiful bill, whatever you call it, had in our state, which, as you know, and we talked about during the special session, cut our state budget, gutted it by over $1 billion, eliminating Coloradans' TABOR refunds and also slashing Medicaid and SNAP. All the while, tariff taxes on Colorado are driving up costs on everything from groceries to medicine. Trump's tariffs alone are expected to cost Coloradans an average of $1,700 for a single year. Tariffs, put simply, make it unaffordable to live. Since day one, we've worked together to save Coloradans money, to strengthen rather than destroy international trade, and to make our state the best place to start and grow a business. 4 years ago, you might recall, I stood here and sang, which I promise not to do this one, about finding 50 ways to save Coloradans money. And we actually went on to deliver over 100. And we're proud to be saving the average Colorado family of 4 over $600 a year on income and property taxes alone. Last year, Colorado taxpayers saved nearly $2.5 billion. But just as we came together during the special session to close corporate tax loopholes, I'm also hopeful that we can come together again to cut the income tax rate in Colorado. Republicans, you're supposed to. Thank you. We are fighting hard to protect every federal dollar owed to Colorado in partnership with Attorney General Weiser. Our state has successfully defended nearly $900 million, and we're grateful for your work. But there remains over $1 billion or more that's at risk or lost from cuts. And sadly, Washington Republicans, once the self-proclaimed party of states' rights and small government, today are too often the party of socialism, overreach, and intrusion into people's daily lives in ways that are wholly outside of the scope of government. Whether it's picking corporate winners and losers, whether it's co-opting capitalism with cronyism, it often feels like big government is in our wallets, our doctor's offices, and our homes, bullying businesses of all sizes. This is not the Colorado way. Driving up costs with tariff taxes is not the Colorado way. Ripping away critical food and health access, not the Colorado way. Tearing families apart with a costly and often cruel immigration agenda is not the Colorado way. Today, nearly 75% of people that are being held in immigration detention centers have no criminal history. And in America, in 2026, a culture of fear and chaos has too often meant families debating whether they can go to work or send their kids to school out of fear that they won't come home. I want to remind folks of the words of the Statue of Liberty, beckoning those who come to breathe free, can often ring hollow against the cruel realities that we're facing today. This is simply not who we are. Since day one, as you know, I've worked hard to build a Colorado for all. It's a mission that reflects our shared commitment to a compassionate, kind Colorado for everyone, and one that I hope and trust will continue well beyond my administration. In the words of Aurora Smoky Hills High graduate Bowen Yang, the only way forward is to be joyous and celebrate one another. At a time when Washington is often peddling the illusion that America somehow isn't for everyone, that somehow there's only room for some people or some beliefs or some love or some prayer, I want to make it clear. In our Colorado for All, there is room and opportunity for all of us. Here, we welcome immigrants and refugees who follow our laws and seek to build a better life, who strengthen our economy and enrich our communities under the shelter of our democracy. In our Colorado for All, an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. In our Colorado for All, we safeguard our fundamental freedoms, protecting the right to be who you are, to marry who you love, and to choose when or if to start a family. There is space in our great big hexaheptagonal state, 697 sides, for all of us. We are a state of adventure seekers chasing mountain peaks. Years ago, my mom wrote a book, Come Into the Mountain, Dear Friends. We're a state of wide-eyed entrepreneurs, of artists, of devout Coloradans of faith, of poets, of vegans, of soccer moms and ultimate Frisbee dads, of hunters and of union workers, of farmers and of ranchers, and yes, of immigrants and refugees. We respect our differences, and we're stronger and better off because of our rich diversity. In our Colorado for All, hope and kindness are part of our DNA. The legacy of Jane Goodall, who had a special place in her heart for Colorado, lives on as we take inspiration from her words. Hope does not deny evil, but is a response to it. Hateful and divisive rhetoric often doesn't stop at words. We're seeing online vitriol spill over into horrific violence, including here on our own doorstep. You know, we refuse to sit idly by as a culture of targeting our fellow human beings festers in this country that we love. In words and in actions, we must reject the politics of division and the poison of blind hatred by doubling down on respect, kindness, compassion, and truly learn to disagree better. These are the values that also guide our solidarity with those around the world, fighting for freedom as we speak, in Iran, in Venezuela, in solidarity with the brave Ukrainian people in their continued fight against Russian aggression. In my first State of the State address, I shared a story of a conversation Marlon and I had with our kids. Our then 6-year-old wanted to know what the difference was between the various political parties. And at the end, we went over to his 4-year-old sibling and asked, "What political party are you?" And without missing a beat, she answered, "The Happy Birthday Party." You know, Colorado's kids are wise in ways that we could all use a little more of. This year, we'll celebrate our state's 150th birthday party, our country's 250th birthday party, and what a great opportunity to come together and honor these historic milestones, not as Democrats or Republicans, as liberals or moderates or conservatives, but as the Happy Birthday Party. You know, and as we head into our special birthday, we know that tackling our shared challenges that Coloradans of all political stripes face in every part of the state, and first and foremost among many of them, is folks who tell us that the high cost of housing makes it simply harder to live in our beautiful, incredible state of Colorado. In Field of Dreams, starring Colorado rancher Kevin Costner, the wind whispers, if you build it, it will come. Or as we say, if you build it, opportunity will come. For too long, we've run up against roadblocks, from outdated laws to piles of paperwork to costly delays that slow or stop new housing, new transit, new clean energy from even being built. It reminds me of the words of Taylor Swift and maybe Kevin Ballmer too. I'll sue you if you step on my lawn. Not us. We say, let us build. We are empowering Coloradans with the freedom to build an accessory dwelling unit on their property and let homeowners, not the government, make decisions about how much parking is needed, thanks to the bipartisan work of Senator Amabile, Senator Henriksen, Senator Exum, Senator Mullica, and Representative Weinberg. The benefits are even greater than we could have imagined. Just ask Speaker Pro Tem Basenecker, whose mother-in-law now lives in an accessory dwelling unit in his own backyard. We've unlocked more housing near transit. We've opened the door to single or smart stair homes, and we've broken down barriers to low-cost modular housing thanks to the work of Speaker Pro Tem Basenecker, Representative Woodrow, alongside Senator Ball and Senator Bridges. And at long last, we tackled construction defects liability to build more condos, unlocking the promise of starter homes and home ownership for more Coloradans, thanks to the work of President Coleman and Senator Roberts. And you know, we put our skin in the game, speeding up contracting times through the Department of Local Affairs, with our department now turning around contracts for new housing in 33 days, down from 61 days 2 years ago, under Maria de Cambra's leadership, in partnership with the Housing Consortium. She helped launch the Innovative Housing Hub to make it easier to apply for affordable rental housing tax credits. We've stood up the Educator First initiative to help 3,000 teachers buy their first home, thanks to the work of Senator Amabile and Frizzell and Representative Lukens. Through Proposition 123, we've built over 10,000 new homes across the state, including in rural communities who are building affordable housing for the very first time. But we also know there's a lot more work to be done. As Colorado-born, Ji Young Yoo, the voice of the iconic Zoe in K-pop Demon Hunter, said, I do have one idea, actually 57, but let's start with my favorite. I share Zoe's enthusiasm when I think of the 57 or more ways we can unblock more housing at a lower cost. And this year, we want to help make sure the local governments have the resources they need to build and improve bus and train stations and to pair these investments with housing near transit. I want to thank Speaker McCluskey and Representative Woodrow, Senator Roberts, and Senator Exum for taking this important issue on. The Housing Opportunities Made Easier, or HOME Act, will open the door to more housing by partnering with higher education, nonprofits, transit agencies, school districts, and housing authorities to build on underutilized land. With Speaker Pro Tem Basenecker, Representative Mabry, Senator Exum, and Senator Gonzalez leading the way, these steps will significantly cut down on building times for new housing. You know, Coloradans are eager to be part of the housing solution. For example, in Edwards, the Eagle County School District opened up Miller Flats Apartments with 37 homes for school district employees and teachers and paraprofessionals located right near schools, parks, and transit. And there's many examples like that across the state. We're giving homeowners the freedom to do more with their property, and it's only the start. By making it easier to subdivide and sell your property like an accessory dwelling unit, we can boost the supply of affordable starter homes so families can build wealth and help Coloradans stay in their homes. Together, we've worked hard to make the senior homestead exemption flexible and portable to help seniors downsize and also free up homes for growing families. And of course, this year, we must make good on our promise to seniors by funding the senior homestead exemption. Doing so will require, as the Joint Budget Committee knows, finding $200 million in one-time funding for this year. We've proposed in our budget converting Pinnacle as a way to shore up workers' compensation to better protect workers, ensure Pinnacle can compete and thrive in today's and tomorrow's marketplace, and provide some relief to the budget shortfall while making good on our bipartisan promise to seniors. You know, once you have a home that you can afford with a monthly payment, keeping up with costs that come with it is often the next challenge. And that starts with the rising cost of homeowners insurance, which simply costs too much here in Colorado. This year, we must bring homeowners insurance rates down. Costs continue to skyrocket, up 91%, an average of $2,000 from 2019, and Coloradans in wildfire-prone areas are often having a hard time even finding insurance. Now, that's largely a function, almost entirely a function, of hail damage and fire damage claims increasing. But there are tools at our fingertips that can and will help bring down homeowners insurance rates for Coloradans. And of course, while we can't necessarily tackle the entire challenge overnight, it's long past time that we start with very practical, common sense steps like building more hail-resistant roofs, making them more affordable, and reducing fire risks. And by doing that, we can drive down claims and, of course, premiums as a function of claims. I want to thank Speaker McCluskey, Representative Brown, Senator Amabile, and Senator Snyder for taking on this important issue of rising homeowner insurance costs. You know, the more we do to bring down costs, the more opportunity opens up for Coloradans in the ways that matter the most: where we live, how we spend our time, how we spend our money. 5 months into my time as governor, some of you might recall, an 8.5 million pound boulder fell smack dab in the middle of Highway 145 just outside Dolores, leaving a huge trench and destroying much of the road. When I would learn that it would cost the state $200,000 more to get rid of the rock than to reroute the highway, I found another way. Now, I'm a rock tumbling enthusiast, much to Marlon's chagrin. For those who aren't familiar, check it out. But there was no way to tumble this particular rock, and so heeding the wise words of the Beatles, we let it be. This is the same common sense I've used to make it easier, safer, and more affordable to get around our state, whether you choose to do so by car, bike, foot, bus, or train. Today, getting around takes up too much of Colorado's budgets and too much time away from our families and what we love to do, and puts out too much pollution. We're showing there's truly a better way forward for Coloradans, one with more choices and with greater convenience and lower costs. We've repaved over 2,500 miles of roads in the last 5 years alone, and under the leadership of CDOT Director Shoshana Liu, we've tackled long neglected projects, including Floyd Hill, to finally get drivers over Floyd Hill safely and quickly. I know it'll be done soon. Taking away the scary drive that many of us relate to going to and from our beautiful Rocky Mountains. You know, when I took office in 2019, there were only 18,000 electric vehicles driving around Colorado. Now, our Energy Office Director, Will Torr, was one of those early adopters, even back then. And I am very proud to report that Will no longer feels lonely, now with 10 times as many, over 204,000 electric cars on Colorado roads. We are #1 nationally for percentage of electric vehicle sales, and by embracing these clean, quiet, fun-to-drive cars, we've cut emissions by almost 600,000 tons of carbon dioxide every year, and we continue to work on this. And folks, we got this done because of policy. Working with Senator Weissman, we want to continue to make it even more affordable to get an electric vehicle by directing savings to lower-cost electric vehicles. And of course, the lion's share of additional transportation funding we've secured has gone to roads and bridges, but we know that we can't just build our way out of the congestion that's robbing too many Coloradans of our precious free time and money. And that's why we've also supercharged state support for transit and getting around. We're blazing a trail on cost-efficient passenger rail, and we're doing it in record time with a new lease and access agreement to begin mountain passenger rail service through the Moffat Tunnel. We're turning the promise of daily, year-round service from Denver to Craig into a reality, with the first routes from Denver to Granby kicking off about a year from now. And looking to the Front Range, we are on the precipice of delivering a historic joint service partnership from Denver to Fort Collins, working closely with our partners, the Department of Transportation, RTD, and local governments to get Front Range passenger rail across the finish line. I want to thank Lisa Kaufman for her amazing work on passenger rail. And before she started that work, she was under the illusion that being chief of staff was a hard job. Thank you, Lisa. The success of Bustang and Snowstang, Pegasus, Outrider show that Coloradans have an enormous appetite for reliable, affordable bus transit options. In the last 5 years alone, Bustang ridership has increased 5-fold to serve nearly 2.3 million riders. That's 2.3 million cars off of our roads. Less traffic, less pollution. Bustang now runs 20 routes with lower fares and exciting partnerships with iconic Colorado events like the X Games. And we're pursuing long-term sustainable funding so Bustang can continue to grow, providing even better service for more Coloradans now and in the future. We are making major progress, but we all know the reality is until we have a world-class metro area transit agency with RTD, we simply cannot meet our climate, affordability, or convenience goals. And this begins with governance changes, increased accountability and transparency, and a stronger partnership between the cities it serves and the transit agency. And I want to thank Senator Ball, Senator Judah, Representative Froelich, and the late Senator Winter, along with Maria Garcia Berry and the Accountability Committee, for putting together a thoughtful and effective approach for how we can truly realize a world-class transit agency for our population centers. Now, letting our Broncos leave Denver would have been like getting an invite to Taylor Swift's wedding and saying no, which is to say, not an option. And by the way, Taylor, I'm an excellent officiant. Just ask Allie Kimmel on my team, who I was proud to marry a few years ago. In all seriousness, the revitalization of Burnham Yard, one of our state's most historic properties, lays the groundwork for an amazing hub with multimodal transit, with shops, with restaurants, with entertainment, and of course, the AFC West champion, Denver Broncos. We're going to beat the Bills this Saturday, and of course, fully expect for you to join us in hosting a Super Bowl parade this next February. You know, we're looking at every piece of the puzzle to make it safer and more affordable to get where you want to go. Today, high auto insurance rates, the 5th highest nationally, lead to far too many uninsured drivers, making our roads less safe and further driving up costs. That's why I launched our roadmap to reduce auto insurance premiums, an action plan to improve road safety and lower auto insurance costs. And by more than doubling the number of wildlife crossings statewide to more than 70, including the world's largest wildlife crossing in Greenland. No, not that Greenland, Greenland, Colorado. Leave the other Greenland alone. We are reducing wildlife collisions. We are reducing wildlife collisions by 90%. And we're putting the days of too much time spent in traffic, too much money to get around, and too much pollution in the rearview mirror, pushing past the way it is to achieve the way it can be. You know, 26 years ago, that's more than a quarter century, I was driving around the state in an old school bus campaigning for the State Board of Education, demanding more investment in Colorado schools to ensure every student could get a high-quality education and thrive. My passion for education is what drew me into public service. And after starting my career as an entrepreneur, and it continues to drive my work as your governor. There are so many ways that we can build a bright future for Colorado, and almost all of them begin with education. Education is truly about opportunity. It's about hope. Colorado students today get a strong start with free preschool and free kindergarten thanks to the work of Representative Sirota and Senator Bridges. And those students head into fully funded schools thanks to our work with the Joint Budget Committee. Now, indicators of class size are down by one full student today from when I first took office, and average teacher pay is up over $13,000 per year. If you visit a Colorado classroom today, as I did this week in Colorado Springs, you might notice something special about Colorado's first and third graders. These classes include the first group of Colorado students to go through free preschool and free full-day kindergarten. Now, I met a lot of them in our schools, and usually their first question is, "Who are you?" It has on occasion been followed by, "I want to be governor when I grow up." But you know, when I started out as governor, going to kindergarten for a full day of school and going to preschool at all was treated like a bonus if you were lucky enough to get it or if your parents could afford it, not the necessity that it should be. And the data speaks so clearly otherwise. High-quality early childhood investments prevent achievement gaps from occurring in the first place. They help with reading, with math, with long-term success in school, all while saving families $6,300 a year for preschool and $500 a month for full-day kindergarten. And Coloradans, were eager to raise their hands and sign up for preschool and kindergarten, catapulting Colorado from 27th nationally in preschool enrollment to 3rd in our very first year under the leadership of Dr. Lisa Roy. Today, 98% of kindergartners take advantage of free full-day kindergarten. And we've dedicated historic funding to Colorado classrooms, increasing funding per student from just over $8,000 in 2019 to nearly $12,000 today. And with the leadership of Speaker McCluskey, Assistant Minority Leader Bacon, and the Joint Budget Committee, we've tackled the beast. The budget stabilization factor for the more than a decade hamstrung our schools with too little funding, along with implementing the new School Finance Act. And at the same time, we've worked to protect school funding for the long term and the services Coloradans rely on from any kind of rainy day or recession. When I took office, the state's budget reserves were at 7.25%. Today, I'm proud that we're in the double digits with 13% in the bank. And of course, while our reserves took a minor dip after President Trump and Congress passed H.R. 1, we're on track to get our reserves up to 15% in the coming years. In Colorado, well, I'm glad that reserves got an applause. Is it just the JBC or all of us? I hope it is. In Colorado, we're doing our part to help our talented, hardworking educators do their best, helping to shape the next generation of learners, of leaders, of fathers and mothers. Each of us can remember a teacher, or likely several, who helped us become who we are today. And I want to thank all the teachers that are here today and across Colorado for your incredible contributions to our state now and in the future. Thank you, teachers. Now, a good education gives students a head start right out of the box, and high-quality skills and workforce development help Coloradans cross home plate to a good job. You know, last year, Colorado high school students enrolled in a record 146,000 courses through our community college system, earning college credit before graduating and saving over $71 million in tuition costs, as well as saving time. Today, we're joined by Mariah, a nursing student at CSU Pueblo, who, thanks to concurrent enrollment opportunities, Mariah earned 2 credentials and completed the first 3 years of her bachelor's degree while still in high school at Swallows Charter Academy in Pueblo. I didn't even find out until today that I know her grandmother, which is fun. Today, Mariah is working in an ICU in Colorado Springs while completing her studies. Thank you, Mariah, for being here, and so many other students who benefit from dual and concurrent enrollment. Through the Bipartisan National Governors Association, my chair's initiative, Let's Get Ready, Educating All Americans for Success, kickstarted a long overdue national conversation about how we better connect the skills students need in school with those that actually matter and lead to a good job. And now, we're putting those lessons learned from Let's Get Ready into action. Alongside 6 other states led by both Democrats and Republican governors, we're tracking student readiness in real time with a new dashboard that can move accurate and quick information to help make sure that students are ready and successful for whatever comes next, whether it's higher education or career or more job or workforce training or apprenticeships. We're saving Coloradans money with free and low-cost training opportunities, and of course, making the first 2 years of college free for many Coloradans, thanks to the work of Speaker McCluskey, Representative Taggart, Senator Kirkmeyer, and Senator Mullica. And as one of the largest employers in the state, our state itself is leading by example for hiring for skills instead of the right degree, putting an end to the days where excellent candidates were turned away just because they didn't have the right degree or a particular degree. Our workforce investments are bold, innovative, and nation-leading. And while there's a lot to be proud of, I'm not going to talk the next 3 hours about it. Instead, I'm going to talk about the work we need to do ahead, because we know that people change jobs more frequently nowadays. And yet, our job training system just isn't working for every Coloradan. There's so many examples of excellence, but it's not universal. It's a maze of more than 20 divisions and offices and units across 7 state departments. The 110 programs for workforce training or readiness have different eligibility requirements, application, and different outcome measurements. And I will now name all 110 workforce programs. Honestly, even if even I, as your governor, can't name all 110 workforce programs, how can we expect job seekers and those seeking skills to get ahead and figure out how to navigate this maze? Transformative results require bold action, and that's why we're calling for a unified department to serve as a one-stop shop for Coloradans for easy access, for high-quality skills and training and apprenticeships and education and better tracking of successful outcomes, thanks to the bipartisan effort led by Speaker McCluskey, Representative Taggart, Senator Bridges, and Senator Frizzell, which truly will help unlock opportunity and prosperity for more Coloradans. Helping Coloradans get job ready is another way we're making Colorado the best place to work and to do business. And today, we're proudly home to a very strong business-friendly ecosystem. We were ranked the top state in the nation for female entrepreneurs 3 years in a row, and 4th best business environment overall by U.S. News & World Report. With Eve Lieberman at the helm of our Office of Economic Development and International Trade, companies continue to thrive here in Colorado. Companies that are reinventing a better future. Businesses like Boom Supersonic, a $1.5 billion company that started in a Denver basement and is now building supersonic passenger jets that can get us from Denver to London in just over 5 hours. You know, my own career is one that in its earliest days was shaped by the promise of emerging technology. At that time, Internet 1.0, when I launched an internet service provider from my college dorm room. This experience taught me a lot about how technology is a tool and must be used to maximize opportunity and innovation. Along those same lines, artificial intelligence has tremendous potential. But I assure you, did not write this speech. We must act thoughtfully to really embrace that amazing innovation while empowering and protecting consumers. Today, we're called upon to ensure Colorado remains a leading state for artificial intelligence, for consumers, for businesses of all sizes. And now is the time to get together in a way that drives innovation and, of course, protects our fellow Coloradans. In my time as governor, one of the greatest honors has been serving alongside the talented men and women who work for the state government, over 30,000. We're fortunate, and we're all fortunate as Colorado residents, to have passionate, dedicated Coloradans, many of whom will outlast your service, outlast my service, taking on the most difficult challenges we face, bringing creativity and a commitment to their daily work every single day on behalf of us. Today, I'm honored to be joined by Fidela Jaquez, one of our longest serving state employees who will have served 50 years next month. Thank you. She's worked across the Department of Public Safety and Transportation and Revenue, and of course she's also been a wonderful mentor of her fellow state employees. I'm sorry, by the way, she was over there. Hakela, where are you? Stand up so we can see you. And thank you for mentoring and bringing, and I asked her, I said, are you anywhere near retirement? And she said, no way. Thank you for the impact that you're making. The members of this body and I have term limits, but we're very grateful that you don't, and you're able to continue to bring your experience to a new generation. You know, our efforts to support Colorado's hardworking and dedicated state employees is further strengthened by our work with Colorado Wins, led by Hillary Glasgow. I want to thank Hillary and her team, including President Diane Byrne, who's here with us today, for your passionate advocacy and work on behalf of our workforce, for our partnership throughout my administration and governorship with our state employees. You know, since day one, I've taken on special interest and tackled challenges that critics say could never be solved. And when it comes to healthcare, I would measure our accomplishments against any state in the nation, but it's very difficult to make real change. And of course, under the leadership of Lieutenant Governor Diane Primavera and our Office of Saving People on Money, we've tallied nearly $3 billion in savings for Coloradans, even as national costs continue to increase. We've partnered with bipartisan legislators, including Patrick Neville and Pueblo's own Danea Escar, on our nation-leading hospital pricing transparency law. We've passed the landmark Colorado option and bipartisan reinsurance alongside Speaker McCluskey, Senator Judah, Senator Rich, and Senator Roberts. We've brought Republicans and Democrats together to put an end to surprise billing. We've made 6 behavioral health care sessions free for Coloradans under 18, thanks to Senator Michelson Janae. And thanks to the effort of Senator Gonzalez and Senator Weissman, Representative Froelich, and Representative Zokai, we've built in needed protections to make sure that Coloradans that are in need of emergency care and their doctor recommends an abortion to save their life, that they will not be turned away. With the leadership of Division of Insurance Commissioner Mike Conway, we've created a first-in-the-nation group that's finally capping the cost of the most expensive drugs. And we strongly suspect that we're on the right track because we've already been sued twice by Big Pharma. Years before the federal government did, alongside Senator Roberts, we capped the price of insulin. But despite all this work, and there's more that many of you have been involved with, we of course know we're not where we should be with regard to health care. High-powered and well-funded corporate interests have proven to be deeply entrenched in our politics. It's like the Avengers fighting Thanos. We're up against big hospitals, pharma, insurance, alongside a federal government that's often eager to cozy up to these special interests. Colorado's application to import lower-cost prescription drugs from Canada, thanks to the leadership of Kim Bimsteffer and Senator Rodriguez, still languishes in Washington, first under President Biden and now under President Trump. The reality is, the incentives in healthcare are simply FUBAR. Americans are getting screwed on healthcare. You know it, and I know it. Today, hospitals rake in billions of dollars in profits and actually get away with charging $5,000 for an ice pack, $600 for a Band-Aid, while insurance companies and pharma raise prices on consumers. Now, Diane and I were perhaps a bit naive to think we'd be able to pull together a coalition to fight back against such absurd charges. Too often, we fight over incremental progress, and when we stand up for systemic change, we're met with the might of the medical industrial complex and their highly effective scare tactics. I saw this firsthand when I was in Congress working to pour past the Affordable Care Act, and I've seen it time and time again as governor. It's truly mind-boggling that every other industrialized, wealthy Western country in the world has figured out a way to provide universal health care as a baseline for everyone at a lower cost. Japan spends less than half of what America spends on healthcare with an older population, and their average lifespan is 6 years longer. Let me be clear. Our dedicated doctors and nurses and providers work around the clock to give Coloradans great healthcare, and they didn't set up the system. Our essential safety net hospitals, especially in rural communities, are filling important gaps while fighting tooth and nail to keep their doors open, and made all the more difficult by the federal government taking a sledgehammer to Medicaid. Fixing this broken cycle is not about spending more. We're already doing that, and it ain't working. The federal government today is about half of all payers through Medicare and Medicaid, the two largest payers. And it's long past time the federal government starts negotiating with prescription drug companies and hospitals and actually drives down cost. Instead, premiums are skyrocketing across the country after Congress failed to extend the tax credits that millions of Americans rely on to keep healthcare more affordable. Look, in some ways, it's one of those $600 Band-Aids, but it's at least prevented major increases in insurance premiums as we seek reform. In Colorado, we're doing the best with what we have by maximizing efficiency, refusing to let Medicaid, the payer we do have, fail. The reality is that healthcare expenses are rising far faster than the rest of our budget. We need to take action to bring Medicaid costs to a sustainable level and protect access for the 1.2 million Coloradans who rely on Medicaid. The numbers are stark. I almost brought my charts with me, but I'll just spare you and let you ask the Joint Budget Committee members. We simply can't afford to keep growing Medicaid at anything close to its current pace while still funding schools and roads and public safety. We need value. Like every other country, we need better results and spending less. So let's focus on spending less. Let's focus on covering more people. Let's focus on getting better health outcomes. As Babe Ruth famously said, never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. And let me be clear, we've been in this game, and with you, we are truly giving it our all. But when it comes to healthcare, special interests like big hospitals, big pharma, big insurance, pharmacy benefit managers, you name it, have far too much influence and are often the umpires and call pitches the way that they like. We will continue fighting for Coloradans, but ultimately, we need Washington to step up and take real action on a real solution. Call it what you will, a social insurance model, a multi-payer universal health care, Medicare for all, single-payer system with private insurance and care on top. No matter the jargon, no matter what you call it, no matter your policy preference, The outcome is what matters. Healthcare for everyone at lower costs like every other country has. It's long past time that Washington got on the side of hardworking Americans and out of the pockets of special interests. But just like our health, our safety is absolutely critical to being able to live a good life. And when I set the bold goal to make Colorado one of the 10 safest states of the nation, we got right to work, taking data-driven, common-sense steps to prevent crime in the first place, better equip law enforcement, and crack down on crime. And we're seeing real progress. A new report from our Division of Criminal Justice shows that in the past year, violent crime is down over 13%, property crime is down 18%, which means 14,000 fewer victims of crime. Through targeted investment and increased penalties, we've achieved a 61% decrease in auto theft over the last 4 years. In a single year, we've seen a 95% decline in catalytic converter theft in Denver. Thanks to the support of voters, we're boosting state support for local law enforcement through Proposition 130, which I supported. This year, the first round of $15 million in funding will go to local law enforcement to boost recruitment, retention, and training. We are so grateful for the service, bravery, and dedication of Colorado's law enforcement officers, our active duty military, our veterans. I want to thank all those here today who have served or do serve our state and nation with pride and ensure our safety and security. Keeping Coloradans safer includes better preparing for, preventing for, and responding to the year-round threat of wildfires. And I'm proud that we've worked to expand Colorado's arsenal of firefighting tools, including our state-owned helicopters like the Firehawk and multi-mission aircraft, fire engines, crews, contracted air tankers, to make sure that we can quickly and decisively act whenever and wherever a fire breaks out. Our National Guard service members have been on the front lines, on the ground and in the air, in the aftermath of Colorado's devastating fires and floods, always at the ready. They flew helicopters to drop water at the Cameron Peak and East Troublesome fires, provided real-time data on fire spread, and helped control traffic out of evacuation zones in the Marshall Fire. These are the missions that matter for our communities, and I want to recognize the bravery and commitment to service that exemplify our Colorado National Guard under General Bob Davis, and show our respect for their commitment to keep us safe. Looking ahead, there's more work to be done to make sure Coloradans can thrive in safe communities. And sadly, while the current administration of Washington leaves states in the lurch, canceling $29 million and threatening $19 million more in safety grants owed to Colorado, we are stepping up to do just that, where we can, filling the gap, refusing to leave our safety to chance or the whims of Washington. My balanced budget proposal includes support to monitor and protect Coloradans against the rising threats of political violence and extremism, along with support for emergency preparedness, response, and recovery to make sure that we're better prepared to act quickly if and when disaster strikes. Once again, this is work that we have normally counted on a strong federal partnership for, but now we know that Washington is threatening some of this very funding. Keeping Coloradans safe includes protecting the spaces we gather, learn, and pray. And today, over 73 nonprofits, including synagogues, mosques, and churches, have been able to make security upgrades with support from the nonprofit security grants. Our students deserve to learn free from fear, and our Office of School Safety has supported 239 improvements to boost safety and emergency response at 190 schools across Colorado. Together, under the leadership of Senator Sullivan and so many others, too many to name here, we've taken common sense steps to reduce gun violence while protecting our Second Amendment rights. The nation-leading red flag law has been enforced over 478 times to protect Coloradans and our communities. Waiting periods, safe and responsible gun storage requirements, cracking down on ghost guns, all help keep Coloradans safe, and we're proud to support responsible gun ownership, including with expanded background checks, making the theft of any firearm a felony. We're protecting the rights of Coloradans to own the gun of their choice while implementing new training to make sure that those who purchase semi-automatic weapons are fully trained through the work that Colorado Parks and Wildlife is doing with your local sheriffs. By cracking down on gun trafficking and illegal firearm activity, we've gotten 183 illegal guns off of our streets. To truly keep Colorado safe, we must act urgently to address gaps in our system related to those who cannot stand trial but are charged with a crime, and make sure that anyone who poses a danger to themselves or others is not just released onto the streets. My supplemental budget request includes funding for the state to work alongside local governments and the judicial branch to pursue appropriate, secure placements and services, and I'm asking the legislature to move quickly to get bipartisan legislation to my desk, and thanking Speaker McCluskey, Minority Leader Caldwell, Senator Amabile, and Minority Leader Simpson for leading the bipartisan action on getting this done. Delivering real results for Coloradans is as much about our values as it is about making life easier and more affordable. And together we're showing that it is possible to cut pollution, to lower costs, to spur innovation. By cutting pollution, we're cleaning up our air in ways that we can see and ways that we can feel, helping to reduce bad air quality days, which are down from 65 days in 2021 to 30 days in 2025, which my dad in particular really appreciates. During my time as governor, the share of energy that Colorado gets from low-cost clean energy sources has grown by nearly 75%, enough power to supply 3 million homes for a year. I'm excited about bright spots across our state, like Holy Cross Energy serving Eagle, Pitkin, Garfield, Mesa, and Gunnison counties. At a seasonal peak last spring, Holy Cross generated 96% of its energy from low-cost clean energy sources. Meanwhile, Washington, D.C. is tipping the scale towards expensive, out-of-date coal production that drives up costs, pollutes our air, and subjects all of us to volatile price swings in natural gas. We saw this after the Texas winter storm a few years ago, which drove up energy bills for many Coloradans by nearly $20 a month for years. In Colorado, we tackle climate change head-on. Instead of burying our heads in a pile of coal, or I would say snow, but sadly there isn't any, and the snowpack is only 62% of average. We're charging forward on our plan to unlock clean energy, including our goals of achieving 100%. By 2030, I'm proud to say that more than 70% of Colorado's electricity will come from low-cost wind and solar. But we need emerging technologies like geothermal and carbon capture to get us to 100%. And that's why we're taking action alongside Representative Wilford, Senator Weissman, and Senator Amabile to maintain the important goal of 100% clean energy and building in the flexibility we need to adapt to realities of federal headwinds and protect consumers. Now is the time to support innovation, to build more of what's needed to power our homes and businesses, including power lines and clean power plants. Local government plays a key role in moving energy and transmission projects along, but there's room to grow to ensure that permitting across the state for needed energy is clear, fast, and consistent. Long before my time as governor, the oil and gas wars plagued our state. Colorado's patchwork regulatory environment had few meaningful standards. At best, Coloradans had to worry if oil and gas would be able to drill in their backyard or literally in their living room. For too many Coloradans, this worry became their reality. Even today, the devastating Enterprise pipeline gasoline spill still impacts the southern Indian tribe land, showing us the importance of safety. In my first year as governor, we passed the most robust regulatory framework for oil and gas in the country, moving drilling operations further from homes and schools. And we drilled down to ensure that energy oversight is held to the highest standards under the cutting-edge Energy and Carbon Management Commission, further supporting innovation in underground geothermal and carbon capture. I want to thank our ECMC Commissioner, Jeff Robbins, for being with us since day one, dedicating his passion, his vision, and his expertise to this incredible work. Thank you, Jeff. I also want to thank Erin Martinez, who bravely shared her story after her home tragically exploded from an undetected gas leak from drilling operations near her, killing her husband and her brother. And of course, all those who worked to pave the way for a safer future for Colorado. And I would add the apocalyptic warnings that our gold standard rules would somehow shut down the oil and gas industry in Colorado have proven to be completely unfounded. Today, we have a thriving, robust industry that's electrifying and getting cleaner while adding protections for health and safety while being accountable to put health and safety first. We went on to bring responsible oil and gas companies and the environmental community together, preventing costly, divisive ballot measures, and creating a new funding stream that moves our state from 42nd in transit funding to 23rd. I want to thank for this work the late Senator Faith Winter, alongside Speaker McCluskey, Representative Velasco, Representative Wilford, Froelich, and Bacon, and Senator Cutter for their work on this. Time and time again, we've worked together to tackle the complex challenges we face and chart a sustainable, affordable path forward for Colorado. From securing our water future to protecting our wildlife and conserving our public lands, we're taking these lessons with us to prepare for and build resilience for a hotter, drier climate. Under the leadership of Department of Natural Resources Director Dan Gibbs, we are implementing the visionary Colorado Water Plan, directing over $127 million in new funding to support local water projects. We're seeing record interest in water plan grants, which so far have supported 530 local projects. Agriculture is often on the front lines of the drought, and we are proud to be helping the next generation of producers get the tools and training needed to adapt to a changing climate, a changing water reality, from water plan grants to the transformative work led by Ag Commissioner Kate Greenberg, who isn't here because she just gave birth to her first child 3 days ago. We are working to help farmers and ranchers prepare for and build for success in the face of a hotter, drier climate. Looking to the Colorado River, under the leadership of Commissioner Becky Mitchell, we're working to find consensus while protecting the water for Colorado and the Upper Basin states. There is no state better positioned to lead the way to a sustainable future for our namesake river. In light of the pine beetle outbreak spreading across the Front Range and foothills, we're stepping up to reduce the most harmful impacts, fire risk, and protect our communities and forests, and of course, key water sources. We're also stepping up to support our pollinators, the workhorses of our ecosystems who are responsible for 1 in every 3 bites of food we eat. Together, we're building on our work to protect pollinators from threats faced, including from some pesticides, including working this year with Senator Kipp and Senator Wallace. Look, our treasured public lands are part of the fabric of who we are in Colorado, full of fun, full of adventure, home to incredible wildlife, a key to our economy and our fun. Elevating enjoyment and care of our great outdoors go hand in hand, and we've expanded our state parks and wildlife areas by over 90,000 acres. We've advanced conservation for 270,000 federal acres like the Thompson Divide, and we've opened up access to over 1 million acres of state trust lands. We've created more than $120 million in new annual funding for the care and conservation of our public lands, including with the Keep Colorado Wild Pass that cut the price of state park passes by more than half to $29, growing lottery funding for Colorado's outdoors, the first of its kind outdoor strategy that sets the vision for the best care and use of our great outdoors, and of course, putting every dollar to its highest and best use. The moving words of America the Beautiful have connected generations to Colorado's Purple Mountains majesty, inspired by the beauty of Pikes Peak, where I was just a few days ago. We're working to ensure that America's mountain remains as central to Colorado's future as it is to our nation's. Through Colorado Parks and Wildlife's partnership with the City of Colorado Springs, Mayor Yemi, Colorado Springs Utility, the U.S. Forest Service, Great Outdoors Colorado, county and city and local leaders in the Outdoor Pikes Peak Initiative, and the Pikes Peak Outdoor Recreation Alliance, we're expanding opportunities, including new campgrounds, new trails, better facilities maintenance, for Coloradans and those who visit us to enjoy and protect this hallowed and inspirational place for generations to come. And as we look ahead to our state's 150th birthday, what better way to honor Colorado's proud history and build towards a bright future than by elevating the care, conservation, and enjoyment of our most iconic wild spaces. Our state's milestone year is also a milestone year for some of us, including me, who are embarking on our last year in this building, along with many of you. And I've truly enjoyed working with everyone here in this chamber, well, almost everyone, as well as those who came before. And I want to recognize all of the legislators whose terms have matched up with mine and will be entering their final session. Congratulations to my fellow members of the class of 2026. And I encourage all legislators, again, in my last year, to take advantage of the opportunity to lead on issues you know that I agree with you on, that perhaps the next governor won't, or you don't know, and whether that's school choice or eliminating puppy mills or technology and innovation or supporting blockchain and crypto or reducing the income tax, now's your chance. And on issues you know I might disagree with you on, we might be able to work together to find an agreement, but much to my staff's chagrin, this year, I ordered a special pen for that after poor Jeff Ridges couldn't even get a regular pen from David when I vetoed his bill a couple years ago. At least you deserve a keepsake if that happens. In The Lord of the Rings, Sam speaks to Frodo, saying, "There's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for." Colorado, there's so much good, and we keep fighting for more. There's good that we've achieved, more homes for every budget, more ways to get around easier without sitting in traffic, more opportunities for students and learners at every stage, and the good that we know is still possible and we continue to fight for. When I ran to serve as your governor, I promised to be bold. Heck, I made a lot of promises that together we've turned into reality for so many Coloradans. From free preschool, free full-day kindergarten, more housing, less pollution. We dream, we dare, we do. Now, I've been called many things. Colorado's education governor, marijuana governor, tech bro governor, gay governor, socialist, fascist, communist, capitalist, libertarian, whatever it is, I just keep putting in the work and let others decide the labels. But at the end of the day, It's always about delivering real results that leave our state better and the people that are in it than we found it. And it's also about showing loving kindness for everyone and everything. And I leave you with the advice to be kind and love your fellow humans. Through it all, what will always stick with me are the special moments that during my time as governor I got to experience, visiting all 64 counties, picking and eating a fresh peach in Palisade warm from the Colorado sun, the breathtaking view from atop the mesa at Fort Lewis College, attending church on All Saints Day in Otero County, trying with limited success to descend into the only active volcano in Colorado in Dotsero on a wire tied to a tree, taking our kids to see tarantulas crawl near La Junta, picking Pueblo chilies, surprising seniors for lunch at the San Luis Senior Center, white-knuckling it on the drive to the top of Pikes Peak, fulfilling a life goal by playing Red Rocks with Colorado South Park creators Matt Stone and Trey Parker, and of course, getting married at the Mary Rapon Theater at the University of Colorado, Marlon's alma mater. Moments like speaking at the first preschool graduation ceremony for the class of, they were a little bit more squirrely than you all during my speech, but it was also a little bit shorter. Reading to the first class of full-day kindergartners, and of course, the people of Colorado, of course, also my cabinet, including those who have been here since the beginning, and I've named many of them. You noticed I worked their names into the speech. I want to acknowledge and thank the others, including Joe Barella, Michelle Barnes, Patty Salazar, and Tony Girandini, who've been there since the start. Thank you. Our incredible executive team, Daniela, Cara, Allie, Mark, Connor, Jesse, Danielle, our entire staff, their families, who've also dedicated and sacrificed so much because we believe in Colorado. Our beautiful, spectacular Colorado is matched only by the heart, the ingenuity, the creativity, the love, and kindness of those who call our state home. 7 years ago, I joined you all in delivering my first State of the State address and shared what an honor it is to be your governor. In the time since, forces beyond us have shaped our reality in many ways. A once-in-a-century pandemic, widespread inflation, the biggest and most destructive fires in our state history, an unpredictable federal landscape, a massive wormhole connecting to the abyss with an upside-down version of Colorado, and our only hope, a group of Dungeons and Dragons playing teenagers. Maybe not that one. But despite it all, we faced our challenges head on, never lost sight of our values or what makes us who we are. We've stared down the abyss. We've destroyed our metaphorical Vecnas and delivered big, bold progress for Colorado while rolling a natural 20 on Landing Sundance, the All-Star Game, and the Quantum Accelerator. In this time of great division, now more than ever, we must come together as Coloradans, leading with kindness, with respect, to move our one team, our great state, forward. The state of our state is strong, resilient, loving, kind, innovative, free, and ever bright with the promise of a Colorado for all. So long, and thanks for all the fish. God bless you all, God bless Colorado, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Governor Polis. Will the committee please escort the governor to his chambers? Let's give him one more round of applause, y'all. Madam House Majority Leader Duran.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the message from the governor be printed in the House Journal.
There is no objection. The governor's message will be printed in the House Journal. Senate Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the joint session be dissolved.
There is no objection. The joint session is dissolved.
To order. Members, I know folks are eager to get to lunch. We do have a couple pieces of business we need to take care of. Let's first go to announcements. Announcements, please. Madam Majority Leader, sorry. Representative Lukens.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Joint Education SMART Act hearing will be 15 minutes upon adjournment in the old State Library. And please bring your budget books.
Thank you. Yes, Representative Sirota?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have requested permission from the Majority Leader and received it to be absent tomorrow, the 16th, Friday, January.
So excused. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to lay over the balance of the calendar until Friday, January 16th, 2026.
Seeing no objection, the balance of the calendar will be laid over until Friday, January 16th, 2026. Mr. Schiebel, introduction of resolutions.
House Joint Resolution 1002 by Representatives Bacon and Carter, also Senators Coleman and Exum, concerning the commemoration of Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
He got it.
House Joint Resolution 1002 will be laid over one day under House rules. Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that the House stand in recess until later today.
Seeing no objection, the House will stand in recess until later today.